Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited for today's episode because we're breaking down everything you need to know in order to get started with BatchDialer. Check this out. Before we get started, be sure to check the date in the description so you're always watching our most up-to-date videos here on BatchTV. We're always coming out with updates, and if you can't find the up-to-date resource you're looking for, go to the B in the bottom left-hand corner of your account where we have up-to-date videos, interactive demos, and articles here. Now, technically, all you need in order to make calls in BatchDialer are campaigns, phone numbers, and contacts. I'll share a little bit more than that today in this master guide. And if you want more information, find the link in the description to join the community where you can join future master classes with me and additional webinars. So we're going to jump right into my settings to show you first where you can create your voicemails. So this is an updated version of everything you need to know about BatchDialer, just for those of you that are familiar with some of our previous videos here on BatchTV. There's a lot you can do here, and the main area I'll focus on today is creating a voicemail. Once you start reaching out to people in BatchDialer, you're making lots of calls and they start reaching back out, you want to have some sort of personalized voicemail message that's your own voice so they can leave you a message and it's just more personal. So I'm going to go to this voicemail section, click on new voicemail in the top right hand corner, name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Team Voicemail February. Add an email for delivery or multiple, just separating them by a comma if you have more people on your team that you want to be notified in their email when you get a voicemail from someone. If you have a recording, attach it, but if not, and for the sake of today's guide, we're going to create a new one. Click on add new. You can add a custom file from your computer, record it right here. I'm going to do that option, and then there is text to speech available. So I'm going to click on record audio, also just name this voicemail February. Click the record button when you're ready, and this will be your greeting. So just to be clear, this is what people will hear when they call you and they want to leave you a message. Thanks for giving us a call. Leave us a detailed message with your name, your property address, and anything else you want to leave with us. I know that's just a random example, but of course include your name, include your business name, things that are important that you want people to hear in that greeting so they can leave you the proper information. So that's really just a basic example to show you how it works. Press record, say your message, and then click the stop button when you're done and click save. Click save again to confirm. And the next step is to get phone numbers and connect that voicemail. For those of you that maybe have created a voicemail in the past and you haven't got it to work the way you want it to, be sure that you've actually connected it to your phone numbers so the system knows to direct inbound calls there. So we're going to go over that. But be sure to go through the rest of your settings. There's tons of integration options. For those of you that have a Batch Leads account, you definitely don't want to miss out on integrating the two. There's lead scoring in here, agent scripts that you can edit or customize and add your own. One of my favorites called lead sheets. You can basically make like a qualification form so that you can add that to your contacts and your agents can fill it out when they're on a call with a qualified contact. Really, really cool. So after you create your voicemail, just jump right into the phone system section and go to phone numbers. So with phone numbers, there's an external number option. We're going to skip over that today. Let us know in the comments if you have questions about anything we don't talk about in today's guide, but we're going to go right into buying a number. So with buying a number, I know this goes without saying, but pick the state and or area code of where you're going to be calling into. You want that to be relevant so that when you call into that area or that market, your phone numbers are going to be familiar to your contacts and they're going to be more likely to answer and pick up your calls. So pick your numbers. And we always recommend staying under or making no more than 100 dials per day per phone number. So if you know that you're able to get through 500 calls in the day, get at least 5 phone numbers. And if you're not sure, then start with a few and then you can always add additional into your account if you need that. But having enough phone numbers in your account to cover your calls for the day is by far one of the best things you can do for you and your team to keep your phone numbers cleaner for a longer period of time and avoid those spam likely labels. So after grabbing your phone numbers, attach your voicemail right here that recording that you've previously created, so that when those contacts call you, that's where that inbound call will be directed. Now, BatchDialer does have tons of additional inbound call options. There's inbound call queues, there's even an IVR or auto attendant option, or even being able to forward inbound calls to your phone number, and I'll show you where you can edit that. But just for the sake of getting started, attach your voicemail, and you can always change this later. Agree to the terms of service. Keep in mind you might see something different than I have here on my screen. We have different plans and different things available. So I'm going to go to order now. And as soon as those are added into my account, the very next thing I would do is, if you're in the advanced plan, there is a reputation tool only for advanced. But as soon as you add those numbers, be sure to go and select them and then turn that feature on. So I selected this one, for example, click actions, and then turn on the reputation monitoring. This will allow you to see 10 different providers, letting you know if somebody's flagged you recently and if you're coming up as spam likely on one of these providers. In our master classes, we go through how you can register with the carriers, keeping your numbers cleaner for a longer period of time. Lots of things you can do, but the biggest and most important thing to keep in mind with your phone numbers is to get enough to cover the amount of calls you can make in the day within your account. Now, if you ever need to change what happens when somebody calls you back, you're going to look to your destination column. This is just explaining what is your inbound destination. Where are all of your inbound calls going? So lots of different options available, and I'm just going to go to, these are all of my phone numbers. I'm going to show on an example some of the new numbers I added into my account to show you where to edit that. So there's going to be 3 dots next to your number, and you can go to edit number and change the voicemail recording if you want to. If you want to forward all of your inbound calls to your phone number, like a cell phone, that's a super popular option, so that when people call you back, your cell phone rings instead. And if you want to learn more about different inbound call queue options, let us know down in the comments. We can direct you the right resource, and you can jump into the help center as well. But let's just keep it focused on our voicemail, but there are additional choices. So do keep that in mind, and be watching out for additional things you can do to just organize your numbers even further. I like to use groups off to the right. These are basically just folders for your phone numbers. So click on the blue addition symbol, name your group. It could be to categorize and organize your morning phone numbers, and then maybe you give those a break and bring in afternoon numbers in a different folder. Or I typically like to organize them by the area code where that phone number belongs or what it belongs to. And the groups are nice because if you ever need to change the inbound destination, you can change the entire group of all of your phone numbers rather than clicking on each individual number. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to name this group example, since I have a lot over here for example anyway. Choose the destination of where all of those inbound calls will go with the phone numbers you place into this folder. Let's just keep it on voicemail default so I can show you, and click save. And then after you create the group, if you like this idea, then go to select your numbers off to the left, whichever ones, click actions, and then add them to the group. Watch the destination change to what I had set here, which was the voicemail default. So actions, add to group. I'm going to add it to that example group. Click save, and there you go. So it makes your life really easy, so I don't have to go and individually click on the 3 dots for every single phone number. If I want to make a change, I can just change the group settings. So if you end up having questions about your phone numbers, definitely let us know down in the comments or reach out to our team. Now for the next step, you're going to want to bring in contacts into BatchDialer. Now I'll show an example of importing a list, but we do have different add-ons like lead list available. If you're looking for a solution to help you gather and pull data, like pull different lists, you can basically subscribe to this add-on called lead list, type in a location, let's just go to Phoenix, pick your property types, and then you can choose from all of these different available lists, and you can mix and match or pull one or the other and just make it nice and organized. But really, really awesome feature for those of you needing this solution. Grab your list, name it, and then save it into your account. You could easily add it to the campaign here that you might already have created, or add it later. So you can always do it if you're just getting your account started and haven't created the campaign just yet too. So this is a really nice option, but for those of you that are just going to be importing a list, I'll be showcasing that today, but really easy to use, really great data to be able to pull into your account and start taking action. So let's go to contacts, and we're going to go to contact list. The contacts section here is the default of what will open. This is just basically the breakdown of all of the people you've brought into your account that you can go into their details, look at their property, look at your notes, your past call history with them, lots of info, just all broken down, organized here. But let's go to contact list, and it'll have all of your history of what you've imported into your account. But we're going to click on import contacts and bring in a spreadsheet. Either drag and drop it or click on this box to find something in your computer. So we're going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to grab this on market list I have in my account. Click open. Be sure that your list is already skip traced. If you're using something like Batch Leads, nowadays the skip tracing is just completely included, so you don't have to worry about that, which is really nice. But if you're using something else, just be sure that you go through that extra step of getting the phone numbers, because you do need those in order to import them to BatchDialer. The system does a pretty good job of auto-recognizing all of the columns in your spreadsheet. You can see it's matched my first name from my source field, which is my spreadsheet, with the destination, which is BatchDialer, and it's matched everything nice and organized. But if you notice that it's made a mistake, just open up the destination side and correct where the system needs to import that data. So after that's finished, after you've imported the different phone numbers here as well, click next and then name your list. I'm just going to name this on market Phoenix, Arizona. Add it to a campaign if you have one. If you don't worry. We're going to go into that for our next step. The system will then ask you what you'd like to happen if the list has any duplicate phone numbers that are already on your account. The system never allows duplicate phone numbers. So it's saying, would you like us to reject any duplicate phone numbers attached to a contact? So a contact that has a matching phone number on this new list of somebody you already had imported previously, do you want us to just not import them at all? Do you want us to have your old contact keep that phone number who originally had it and still import that new contact and just not let them have ownership of that number? Or vice versa, there's the keep new option, which would take that phone number off of your original contacts record and place it onto your new import. It really just depends on your preference. A lot of the time I use the keep new option if I've been updating a list. If you're updating skip tracing records or you're pulling new data, you might want to keep it on your new records. Even if you've already made calls with somebody in the past, it won't delete your call history or your call recordings if you've had a call on that number with somebody else. So totally up to you, but the system doesn't allow those duplicates. So after making your selection, you can choose if you want to scrub your company DNC, which I recommend doing. These are people that you've personally talked to within BatchDialer and you have marked them as do not call yourself. So you've already talked to them, or you or somebody on your team, and they said, don't call me again. So I'm going to scrub those out. It's up to you if you want to scrub anybody on the federal do not call list. And then if you want to scrub out mobiles or landlines, and then click submit. Usually takes a few seconds to a few minutes depending on the size of the list, but then it will give you a nice breakdown letting you know the success of that file. If there were any duplicates in the spreadsheet, if anybody was an existing contact, any misformed leads, meaning there was missing information, typically happens when you didn't realize that there were some contacts that didn't come back with phone numbers, like skip tracing data. So if there's anything missing, any data that you want to know about anybody on your DNC or came up on the federal DNC will show here and break it down. So we're going to move on. But remember, after you import that list, you can absolutely go and click on the names of those contacts and dig into their details even before calling them if you wanted to, just by clicking on their name and jumping into the information we'll talk more about in a moment. Now, the last step in order to start making calls in BatchDialer is to create a campaign. A campaign just dictates how the system's going to behave, how many times it's going to call people back if somebody doesn't answer, and so on. So in campaigns, go to new campaign, and we'll go through all of the rules here so you have a good idea of how this works and what the system is doing. So the dialing mode, BatchDialer has both preview option, which is the manual mode. It only allows you to call one person at a time, and it's also the only dialer that allows you to call somebody back. If any of you here have wanted to call someone back that you've received in your voicemails, because they go here in this little chat bubble, there's these leads and you can see all of your inbound calls and voicemails people have left you, and you're wondering how to call them back. As long as you have some sort of preview dialer available to dial from on your account, you can call them. So preview dialer is great for just one-off calls, calling people back, and dialing through manually. Now, predictive dialing is the more popular option. This is where you can call multiple people at once, and it will auto-rotate through the amount of people you have attached in your settings. So we're going to choose predictive. Agents, just make sure you grab at least your own name if you're going to be dialing, add whoever is going to be accessing this campaign, add your phone numbers, make sure you have enough to cover your calls in the day. Once again, if you're not sure, grab a few in your account and start analyzing how many calls you've made so far. Remember that number, making no more than 100 dials per day per phone number is what we recommend. Add your contact list. So here's my on-market list I'm going to grab in all of the ones I've imported. And after you've grabbed that and attached it, name your campaign. I'm just going to name this kind of after the list, makes it really nice and easy. And I have no question about what's going on in this campaign. You're then going to have your call results, and I will be talking about that in today's guide. They are extremely valuable and they make all the difference in the world when it comes to automating your process, organizing your contacts, and deciding if somebody will be called back or not, be put on your DNC, etc. So be sure to make any edits here if you need to, but by default should be fine the way it is if you want to just move past that section as you're getting started. You can view the agent script that's applied here by default. You can also add your own, but be sure to take a look at that and see that you're happy with that before moving on. The advanced configuration. Now, the very first thing I want to say here is that we already have applied what's going to give you the best performance when it comes to your connection rates. Connecting with as many people as possible. These settings can make a difference if you change too many things. So I'll share what they mean, but do keep in mind we already have applied what we recommend. Now with calls order, there is the lead scoring in your settings, and if you want to be using that tool and then have the system call people first or last based on that score, you can. Typically, you'll stick with adaptive, and that just means that the system is going to call through everybody's first phone number first on your list, and then go back up to the top and call everybody's second phone number to their third, and so on, until it rotates through your whole list and reaches everybody that it can. Now, we're going to leave that alone. And then the call connect type, always leave this on automatic answer. It just means that as soon as you get connected to somebody, you will be automatically talking to them. The manual answer just causes a delay. It gives you a choice if you want to get connected, so just leave that on automatic answer. Rapid fire mode is only available on advanced plans. It basically changes the dialing algorithm, just allows you to call more people more quickly, and it immediately fills any empty spots that become available if somebody hangs up prematurely in like that group of 3 people you're calling at one time. So maybe you're trying to get through a really large list and you want to just immediately fill any empty slots that become available. You can turn that on if you're in that plan. I'm going to leave it off. Max calls per day, I would leave alone at 0. This is just if you wanted to limit the amount of connected calls your team has, but I would leave that alone. Simultaneous dials per agent is the amount of lines you can call at one time. If you're in the advanced plan, you can technically go up to 5 lines, but we recommend trying to stay around 3 if you can. Max attempts per record is the amount of times the system will call each record that doesn't answer, and how long it will wait in between those attempts is the retry time. We recommend staying around these numbers. Maybe if you wanted to lower the attempts, that would be a good option as well. But if you call Mary and she doesn't answer, the system would then put her back into my call queue for 3 hours until I retried her the second time, and so on. So in your dialing behavior, these can make a huge impact to your connection rates, and we recommend leaving them alone for the most part, unless you want to change like the amount of lines. But just watch out for any warnings letting you know that this will make an effect in your connection rates, to be watching out for those things. The queue behavior, just leave that alone. It's just the amount of time the system will wait before dropping a call. If you've connected to somebody and somebody's waiting in the queue, it'll wait that amount of time. So leave that at 30 seconds. Smart local presence is if you're in the advanced plan and have it enabled, the system will use a matching area code of the contact you're calling. So they're more likely to answer your call because the area code is matching theirs. So if you have one, of course. If you don't have a matching area code to their number that you're calling, then it will just rotate through your phone numbers like normal. If you get Podio connected, make sure you connect it to your campaign. If you create a lead sheet, connect it as well. And then the last few settings, the system will record your calls unless you don't want it to. Be sure to turn that off. There's an answering machine detection in here. Turning this on does affect your connection rates. It's able to filter out about 70 to 80% of your answering machines, but that does have a delay there, listening to see if it's hit a voicemail or a real person. So if you want a better connection rate, I would leave that off, but of course that's available. Up to you if you want to suppress the federal do not call list, that's available, and then suppress any system do not contact people that you've talked to already. And if you want to suppress wireless contacts, it always scrubs out litigators. Set your calling hours in the time zone of where you're calling. So if I live in New York, but my market is over in Arizona, I would set Arizona's time zone and pick my days and times. So once you're done, accept the terms and conditions and click save. So as soon as you have your phone numbers, your contacts, and your campaign, you just need to click on the phone in the top right-hand corner to open up all of your campaigns and then click join next to the one you want to begin dialing. Remember, the eye icon represents the preview or manual dialer, and the magic wand is for predictive or automatic option. So let's use one of my campaigns, for example, to show you how this works. And we'll use that on market list and click join. And the system will pick up that amount of simultaneous dials per agent based on your dialing behavior settings. And it'll eventually pick up those contacts and rotate through until somebody answers. So we'll wait for those contacts to be picked up here. Now that it's picked up contacts, you can see it rotating through different contacts in my list, and it will continue to do that until somebody picks up, and it will connect me to their details. So we'll wait here until somebody picks up the next call. Click on the arrow if you want to view who it's dialing, by the way, is how I open that. And as soon as they answer, it'll take you to their contact to read your script, view the property details, leave notes, and fill out your lead sheet. When you're done, click on the end call button and disposition it. So I'm going to mark them as do not call because I don't want to call them again in the future. All of your call results have rules attached to the back. So the system is going to obey whatever rules you have attached and essentially move that contact to wherever you've designed it to go. So we'll leave a note here. Leave your mood if you want to, just to categorize that call, and click done. And with predictive, you just sit back and the system will pick up another group of contacts. You can also keep track of when you've called that contact in the past and listen to call recordings as well. You can also use the follow-up call button here in the top right-hand corner to tie things to your calendar. So click end when you're done talking to that contact, disposition it, and move on. When you're done dialing, just click on the megaphone button one more time and then click leave. Now with the preview option, remember it's going to be manual, but it's still a great campaign so you can call people back and call through a very specific list, maybe that you have one by one. Now, two last notes: be sure to view your call results by going to your phone system in your menu and then go to call results, and take the time to go and click on the pencil icon next to each of the ones you have available. Remember, I have a lot of additional ones in my account that I've created custom ones and gotten really creative, because you can use these for a ton of different things to help you in your account, but you don't have to get detailed with them. You can keep the defaults, but have a good understanding of what those buttons are doing for you. If you take a look at your dispositions, things like my do not call button, you can see that automatically the system is told on the back end to, when I use that button, to add that number to my DNC or my do not call list forever or for always. So we do have full guides in the help center on call results. Let us know if you want to learn more about this topic. Call results are extremely valuable and important, so be sure to take your time as you go through each of them. And then also you can go to your reports in your menu to see all of your recent contacts and your recent calls. This includes all of your outbound and inbound calls. You can filter things and filter by the date here as well. Listen to call recordings and edit things if you need to as well. We hope this master walkthrough of BatchDialer was helpful to you. Be sure to drop a comment down below and tell us what you think and if this helped you. Subscribe to our channel and hit that like button, and also find the link in the description so you can join the community, reach out to me if you need anything, connect with people, and join some of our upcoming classes. Until then, we'll see you guys on some of our next episodes.